It's the Under the Abbey Stand preview show, and it's a cup special this week as we've got one cup exit to look over and likely another one imminent this Saturday. But with the famous magic of the cup, you just never know. I've got a suitably magic guest with me to have a look at all of those games. Matt Caspel, how are you? Another streak well on the cards here.
Yes, mate. 6 pods in a row.
Is this 6, is it?
This is God. 6 in a row after the 7 in a row early this year. It's too much, some might argue.
It's too much.
Too much. Obviously, you know, some of that's coconut tier, so make sure if you want to catch the full streak, sign up. It's only £5 a month.
Lovely stuff. We're straight in a plug in the first minute.
Buy a Skepasti. What else? Goes to the CFU AGM. What else was there?
That's why you keep getting put on the schedule, because you're just plugging everything within the first minute. So
a commercial powerhouse, mate. Yeah, just really know what it's all about. It's all about that. Yeah, sweet coconut tier money.
You've understood the brief. Fair play to you there. We're struggling this time of year, aren't we, with the schedule? This week has been...
It's a hot potato pod. Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here, just to be clear. Doing you all a favour.
Yeah. You are stepping in, to be fair, and I think we're still unsure about this weekend's pod. So you're gonna find out on Sunday or Monday whenever we release it.
Yeah, it's proper like injury crisis is actually just like extended. It is a bit, isn't it? It's the pod. Everyone's hamstrings have gone at the same time.
Unbelievably, me, Swindle, and Jord all have our Christmas parties tonight. So yeah, it's the festive season keeping us busy, keeping us active and away from the pod. But look, we're battle through because. As we'll come on to later, our standards in the medical room are higher than some of the Cambridge United players, according to Neil Harris.
That's it, mate. That's it. We're all playing hurt here.
Yeah, exactly. We got a couple of. It's a cup special, isn't it? Really, Caspel. I mean, let's start with the bad news, which is we're out of the Vertu.
Is that bad news?
Given you're the one who's been pressing it all year, of all the people.
I love the Vertu, mate.
No Wembley Arch for another year, though. Caspel.
Well, playoffs.
Sure. Fair point.
You're telling me there's no chance at Wembley.
Point.
I think we.
I think we're gonna go up automatically. To be honest.
Oh right, I see how it is. No, mate. I mean, Rovers Vertu. Not really a shame, is it? It actually sort of. I think it sort of weirdly went quite well. Neil Harris touched on this a bit in the presser, in sense that we didn't lose a football match. We won another pen. We scored another pen. You know, bit of character shown, I guess, to come back in the second half. And I watched the extended highlights if I didn't watch the game. So 13 minutes extended highlights, that's a lot.
Yeah,
so too many, one might argue. I feel like I've watched the entire game, basically. I'll tell you one thing from the extended highlights. The Sky Sports, presumably, commentator, he was very into it for Vertu.
Really?
For like Tuesday night, Bristol Rovers, Cambridge United, no crowd. He was quite excitable for Vertu. So
was it you?
Yeah, surprise! It's me. Yeah, I've been moonlighting just through love of the Vertu more than anything. But like in a weird way. I know we're like, think of the scenarios. Basically, we went down there. We're out of the competition, which now kind of suits us. I'd say earlier in the season, it's good to still be in it. Obviously, you're in it in the group stage anyway, but it has. In a weird way, I felt like we've kind of used it to its maximum strength for us as a club this season by getting a lot of our fringe players match action at a time when the squad had more availability, more fitness, more selection and more rotation. And then as soon as the squad has thinned out, going to Bristol Rovers on a Tuesday night, which is not very, not massively desirable, especially having done it in the League Cup and the league already. Going down there, frankly, getting what would be a point in a league game, if you know what I mean, bit of character, 2 goals to, overturn a 2-0 deficit, which is something we've not done very much under Harris's comeback. Good performances, seemingly are saved, partly highlights, partly people who did watch the game from some of those fringe players as well. Debut for Monday, which is great. And he was involved, obviously missed his penalty, but was involved in in the first goal. And nobody got injured, basically. So, like, we've gone there, we've managed to exit the competition, which is absolutely fine. Generally, no one actually truly cares about this competition as much as we joke. And no one has got injured as far as we know. That, in a way, is a success. And we've not got, to be honest, we've not gone down there and I would say, lost our momentum that we're carrying in an overall sense at the moment. It's not like we've gone down there, got done 4-0, one or two people have come off injured, do you know what I mean? Which would be a real terrible situation in a competition we don't particularly care about. Some people have shown up really well, continued their recent good form. But we're out, and that's a good thing for us now because we are proper bare bones. And it's a bit of a headache to know, not just for the pod who's going to appear at the weekend, but also just our playing squad in general. So I think generally it was a pretty successful evening, to be honest.
As someone who is kind of against the very principles of this competition and the sort of Premier League B team's involvement in it, I'm pretty delighted with that as an outcome for all the reasons you said. I couldn't agree more with everything. And I actually was just thinking as you were saying that you could look at in the past couple of weeks the kind of involvement, or heavy involvement in league action of McConnell and George Hoddle at the weekend. And I'm not saying it's directly down to this competition, but the exposure to first team football in the group stage for both those players, I'm thinking about that Luton home game specifically, McConnell's goal in that game. That's an important factor in his development, and then being able to have the confidence to affect a league game. It's what this competition was for before, when it was the Johnson's Paint Trophy as well. It didn't necessarily have to be what it was now to have that exposure for young players. But if this is the way it's going to be, let's use it for what it's worth. And I completely agree that if you look at the journey as a whole, we've reaped some benefits from it for sure. And definitely not lost momentum. If anything, we might have, the way that second half went. I mean, let's just touch on these stats for the
numbers
half,
are big. The numbers are. This must be. I mean, without checking, this might be Harris's It's got to be his biggest XG game.
It's got.
We love XG now.
Yeah, we do when it kind of suits us. It's like, I mean, what? So I've got them up here on FOTMob. The total shots in the game, 70% possession. In the second half, that's 13 shots to their 4, 75% possession. FOTMob's not actually showing me the XG here, which is quite annoying while I'm speaking.
I've got 2.69 from his flash scores. But that might be FOTMob. I mean, we're just making a number up. It's fine.
It doesn't matter. Basically, we dominated the game. We had 217 passes to their 50. So it's according to these numbers, it's pretty impressive numbers. And I think there's that point that you mentioned about you come off the back of a really big 90th minute winner in the league on Saturday. What you don't want to do is, with a bare bones squad, go down here, lose heavily, and come off of it with a couple of injuries. This is kind of a perfect result, I think. Like you say, obviously it's worth mentioning. The only thing you do miss out on is, I'm told that there is some decent prize money in this competition, which is why I think people higher up at the club kind of value it a bit higher than, for example, the League Cup, where you kind of have, beyond some days out like Fulham, you don't have lots of tangible benefits to it. But I don't think the money that you'd get for progressing in this round would be something that moves the needle in January. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm not sure benefit is.
Not when you're shipping 20 mil odd on failed grounder, really. It's like 10k for winning a game.
Yeah, it's not going to
notice it.
I think I saw it's closer to 80k, but maybe that's total progress in the competition.
No, I think to be fair, but this is not an area I'm well versed.
I'm not sure. I wish I'd looked that up actually, because I did see something about it in the week, which someone saying that's enough for a lone player for the second half of the season. But I'm still not sure that that's enough of a.
This is all good. I mean, the final. This is what I did on Vertu Day. I was just googling away happily. When is the Vertu final? That's the level of bullishness I had. Obviously,
all those dreams in tatters now, aren't they?
So I could not go and buy my Cambridge United Brighton under 21s half and half scarf or whatever. Tin foil Vertu trophy at the ready. Anyway, this means that obviously our home game against Notts County, in the event that we have made the final, will now be in its place in mid-April, which could be pretty important. That might be the day we seal a berth of some kind. So
seal a mid-table berth.
Seal that mid-table berth. Yeah, that's it. No, who knows? Tell you who didn't do well, Gibbons. That goal is bad.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, from the highlights, is there any sort of performances that you want to point out?
Well, I mean, I don't want to bomb out Gibbons, obviously. And again, I will point out I did not watch the game, so he might have actually played quite well in and around that. But it is, to be honest, both the goals, let's get the focus away from Gibbons. It's not good, but both the goals are pretty bad. And then let's put it straight back on Gibbons. I mean, if you've not seen it, he basically takes a complete air kick at the ball with his left foot. So tees himself up from right foot to left, complete air kick on the ball, and then fouls the guy basically straight away. Quite a soft foul, but like basically just chases him into the box and tips him over to give a penalty away. Not great. Second one's pretty bad. It's just like a long ball, I think either from their keeper or from like centre back position. Just sort of not at all well defended. Guy squares the ball and then it's swept in from the edge of the box. So like that, I think is the only negative, is the nature of the goals we gave up and the softness of both, to be honest, is no good. I guess on the positive, we wouldn't have had a platform to make any kind of comeback without it, I suppose. But a lot of the group chat we were seeing from people who were watching the game, you know, you and me we got live, so we weren't. Was like, we are battering them, we are mullering them. Like, you know, our good friend Tom Walker was saying how badly our loss down there in the league is going to age, if you know what I mean, because they don't look so good, Bristol Rovers. But the fact there's Vertu, the fact there's like rotated team or a bit bare bones, says, I think everyone. The only issue for Gibbons is that he's not there staked any kind of claim at a moment where he's fallen slightly out of favour from the first team. And these games are big opportunities, even still for the fringe players. But Cole, for now, Gibbons a bit of a fringe player because he's dropped away. He's one of the only players really in the current injury status. Him and Zach Bradshaw, I guess you might say. These guys need to be using these games to force their way back into the side, really. Can't just rely on everyone's hamstrings going, surely.
No. The other factor, I think, just to bring in, just to kind of wrap up this game, is I'm just comparing Bristol Rovers' side to their last league game, and it's actually nowhere near as rotated as maybe I was anticipating.
Well, yeah, Bristol Rovers played a fairly
8 out of 11 of the
strong
starters. Yeah, it's pretty strong. I mean, fair enough. They've lost 8 in a row in the league, so I'm not sure what that kind of tells you.
I swear, when we played them in the League Cup, wasn't it similar? Like they were like, so I feel like every time we played them the last few times, it's been like they've not won in 17 games or something, so they're going to play a full strength team, basically.
Yeah, they're on a bit of a stinker, and I think for us, it's Hoddle and McConnell. I think weirdly the only two that would have started Saturday that played Tuesday. Obviously, a lot of like Mpanzu played, for example, and he would have. Played on Saturday, for example. But
it was a big rotate.
Kai, Job, Knight, Kachunga all came off the bench on Saturday. So it's not like we were playing loads of fringe players because we don't have the ability to, do we? But anyway, I think that's enough Vertu action. Next time we'll talk about the Vertu will be next year, Caswell, unless you somehow manage to weasel it in.
I'll bring it in. Don't worry. I'll shoehorn it in. Just like I shoehorn in a good Skepasti reference, mate.
Well, exactly.
I'll find a way.
You'll always find a way. Maybe that's the opportunity for us to plug our sponsor, the Old Spring, and our wonderful drinking partners there at the Old Spring. You know the deals by now. Matchday Meal Deal, £15 for a burger, fish and chips, or a world famous Skepasti, and any beer. Saturday happy hour, 6 till 7, where you can get half price beers or a 10% off anytime with a United season ticket or match ticket. Head down there, One Ferry Path, Cambridge. You know the drill by now. Give them a follow as well at the Old Spring Cambridge. They are our wonderful friends and sponsors. Let's move on to the cup, I reckon. The actual cup with a capital C. Stockport away in the cup. Let's start with a preview with the Scarf Bergara Wore. Right, United fans, it's time to get our match preview. I'm joined by Steve from the Scarf Bergara Wore, I should say. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah. Good to be chatting about football again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, isn't it? You're up in 5th in League One, but at the time of this FA Cup draw, you were the worst possible draw in the hat, away to top of League One. How's your season been going?
It's been a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. For the first kind of 7 or 8 games, we couldn't get any consistency whatsoever. We'd have a good first half, and not so good second half, but we were scraping results and kind of picking up points, but kind of conceding far too many. And then we played Cardiff at home, and then they made a few personnel changes, and it all clicked. And then I think we played something like 7 games and conceded something like 3 goals. Only lost 2 games. No, sorry, drew 2 games. Beat Huddersfield away with 10 players and looked phenomenal. And at that point was when the cup draw was made. So it was all going really great. And then we've had a horrific season with injuries, like a lot of clubs do. But we were managing because we've got such a strong kind of strength in depth in terms of the squad. But then we got hit with another 4 injuries after that game, and one of them was Ollie Norwood, who's our playmaker. So he's missing, and we lost a few other guys, and that really we're really struggling to get results then. And we had 2 3-0 results on the bounce, where we lost to Luton at home and Peterborough away. And particularly Peterborough away, we didn't play very well. And then we got a 1-1 draw against Barnsley at home on Saturday, where for the first time, when I go to a home game, I'm always pretty convinced we've got a good chance of winning. But no fans were confident going into the Barnsley game because we had holes all over the pitch. So, yeah, it's been a mixed bag so far.
Yeah, it sounds it. I mean, I was just looking, as you just pointed out, just looking at your results there. There's a 3-0 win at Port Vale and then 2 back-to-back 3-0s. So
yeah.
How sort of seriously do you think you'll take the cup? Because obviously you're up in 5th in League One, and you've been knocking on the door of trying to get up to the second tier for a couple of years now. It feels like, is it league first and hope for a cup run, but it's less important, or will you put everything into it?
Yeah, they'll put everything into it. I mean, the league's the most important. The benefit we've got over you, it's not even a benefit actually, because we're playing the Tuesday night, aren't we? I think we've got Doncaster away on the Tuesday night. So similar to you, we've got a game on the Tuesday, and he'll have he'll have that in his mind, thinking about what to do with that. But he will still take it seriously. The only problem we've got is getting an 11 out on the pitch at the moment is the biggest challenge. And, we're filling the bench with academy players as well at the moment. So it's kind of bare bones. The only good news is we had 2 players come back on Saturday. And I think we've got another 2 are just on the verge of coming back. And it's going to be like a conveyor belt over the next few weeks where I've got players coming back. But yeah, he'll take it seriously. He'll be playing to win, but it's probably a good time to play us.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, of the sort of fit players, or the players you expect to be fit, who should we be looking out for? Who are the threats?
You can pretty much guarantee Carl Wotton will play up front.
He's caused us troubles before. I remember.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and everything goes through Kyle. He's a big presence up front. I think he's only 6'3", which is pretty big, but not as big as some other strikers. But he's strong. He's got a good touch. He holds the ball up well. He gives defenders a bit of a nightmare. So he's definitely the danger man in terms of everything plays through him. And then after that, you're probably looking at the likes of Jack Diamond, a bit of a kind of attacking midfielder, and maybe Malik Mothersill, who we signed. He's kind of our record signing from Peterborough.
Yeah.
It's not clicked yet. It's really not clicked. He's been in and out of the team. We've seen glimpses of what he can do, but he's coming back now after another injury. And there's definitely a player in there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Carl Wotton up front and maybe Jack Diamond and Malik Mothersill kind of playing off him as like attacking midfielders.
Doesn't sound like bad options, to be honest, from where I'm sat. I'm interested by a couple of names in your squad. I'm not sure how much they're playing, but Nathan Lowe obviously lit up the level we're at last year and was at Walsall. How's he been getting on in the level above?
Again, mixed bag, really. So it took him a while to kind of settle in, and we're wondering, is this the player everybody's kind of been raving about? But he works really hard, and you can see he puts everything into it. And he started to put a bit of a run of games together where he was scoring a few goals. So he's looking quite a decent player now. The problem we have is when you've got Kyle Wotton on the pitch and then Nathan Lowe's another big forward, it's like it doesn't always work with 2 big forwards. So, like I say, he's beginning to show something, but I don't think we've anywhere near seen the best of him yet.
I'm going to come back to the cup game on Saturday in a second, but I just wanted to, while we're talking about other players that sort of caught my eye, maybe it doesn't sound like the obvious one, but Ben Hinchcliffe in goal, who I see has 400 appearances now. And I remember it just nudged me of this stat that I saw the other week, which was probably around when the draw was made, which is, I'm sure you're well aware of this, but for our listeners who obviously, we've played each other a lot in loads of different divisions over the years. You've gone all the way down and back up. We've sort of crossed paths a bunch of times in various places. But on the 27th of October 2018, Stockport drew 2-2 with Nuneaton to sit mid-table in the National League North. Fast forward 7 years on the same day, you beat Port Vale, that game I mentioned earlier, 3-0 to go top of League One, which is, I think, when the draw was made. So that's a 7-year journey, and I think I'm right in saying that the keeper's been there for the entirety of that journey, if I'm not wrong. How are things sort of in general as a club? It seems like a mad transformation over the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, it has. I mean, Ben has been with us that long. He's actually been longer. I think this is his 10th season.
Wow.
So he's really been on a journey, and nearly every season they bring a new keeper in who's meant to kind of challenge him for the number one, and quite often than not, that new keeper gets the number one shirt, and then before you know it, Ben's won it back, and he's back in, and he's at safe hands. I think he instills confidence in the team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it makes a difference. It just makes everyone a little bit more confident. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey, to be honest. And to go into National North like we did, we went from 3-4 from the Championship into the National North, and we nearly went again. We nearly dropped down into, I don't even know what it is after that.
Yeah, what is that? Was that the Northern Premier League? Maybe?
Northern Premier, yeah, I think it is Northern Premier. And we nearly went again, and we went to part-time football. And everybody was doing what they could. Anyone associated with the club was doing what they could to help them. There was a club county supporters cooperative put together. Unfortunately, a couple of Jim Gannon, old manager, came in. Alan Lord just before him kind of stabilised the club, but Jim Gannon came in, and he just knows the club inside out, and he knows how to work on kind of minimalist budget, and he kind of got us. He got us promoted. And then fortunately, that's when the new owners came in. They've been looking for new owners for years. A local businessman. He's not a Stockport fan. He's a Manchester City fan. But he cares about the local community, and he's put a lot into education. There's a lot going on with Stockport County Education, where my son actually goes to the education centre. And they're looking to educate 1,000 kids a year in the local area. And that's his real dream. After he steps away from Stockport and he's kind of got it in a better place than it ever was, he wants to continue with the education. But it's been a meteoric fall and then a meteoric rise. So, and then, we're trying to push for that championship now.
Well, it's good to see more than back on your feet, but going above and beyond. Yeah. And then the manager's always also been there for a lot of this journey, right? What's the sort of mood? What's the opinion like on the manager and the expectations, I guess, for the season as a whole?
Yeah, well, nobody wants him to leave. So whenever there's talk of any kind of, the sackings in the championship or anything, and Dave Challoner's name gets mentioned, we all kind of get a bit nervous because he's very good. He's a modern football manager. He studies the detail. He's got a plan for a plan. He's just brilliant. And what he's done with the club is amazing. So in terms of expectations for this season, after last year we finished third. From a fan's perspective, playoffs or above is what we'd like. I think the owner's perspective, they want that kind of top two. And I think the way the season's gone so far, and looking what the kind of the opposition's like, there's no reason why we couldn't push for that top two. It's wide open. But we need our players back. We really do. We've got eight. I think it's 8 first teamers out at the moment, and we need them back. But they are coming back steadily. Yeah. And so fingers crossed.
Yeah. How does he normally set up then? What sort of formation can you expect to play on Saturday?
So when the cup draw was made, you could guarantee it would have been like a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. He likes to play with wing backs. We've recruited in the summer for wing backs, but with the injuries we've got, he seems to be playing with a 4 at the back at the moment. So he's having to play formations depending on who he's got available. The thing we've got going for us on Saturday is we signed Ben Osborne on deadline day. He's kind of a central midfielder who's played with Volley Norwood over the years. He's played about 350 games in the Championship or above. And he's a quality player, and he just came back from injury on Saturday, so there's a good chance he'll play. He'll start on Saturday against you guys, and he kind of, because he's so composed and experienced, it gives you that bit more quality in midfield. So he might go for the wing backs, but it's hard to say. It's really hard to say just because of the number of injuries we've got. But they do talk about our game. Dave Challoner says intensity is our identity. So he'll want intense football. They want to see a lot of the ball, moving it about a bit at the back, as a lot of clubs do these times, but trying to, progress up the pitch. But yeah, be interesting. Be interested to see how it goes.
And how do you think it will go to wrap it all up? What's your prediction?
If it was a league game after Saturday, I'd be confident of, say, a narrow win. And I'm still reasonably confident of a win, but it's the FA Cup. It's the FA Cup. Anything can happen. The fact we're at home, and we've got a few players coming back, that has made us a bit stronger. I'm going to go for a 2-1, which kind of gives you an indication of, I'm not as confident as I would have been at other times. It could go either way, and if you get an early goal, and then shut up shop, anything could happen.
It's almost a bit of a shame that we've got a sort of injury problem of ourselves, because it could be a really decent game if we came down in decent nick and you were in a bit of trouble. It might level the playing field in the game.
I'm not complaining you've got injury problems, though. I'll take that. And some of the guys you mentioned that are missing, your club captains out, did you say?
Yeah.
That's kind of good news for us. So be an interesting game. That's sure.
Let's see. Well, hopefully it's not too long till we play each other again in the league. Hopefully that means us getting promoted rather than you getting relegated. But it's been a pleasure to chat, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Loved it. Thanks very much and good luck.
Thanks very much there to the Stockport lads for helping us out with that preview. Stockport currently 5th in League One. They were top when the draw was made. So at the time of the draw, it was quite literally the worst draw we could have got away to top of League One. As they talk about there, though, they've got a lot of injuries, and they're not exactly flying at the moment in terms of recent form. Potential for an upset here, Casper? How are you feeling about it?
I mean, I feel iffy about us playing Stockport being expressed as any kind of upset. But to be fair,
I think you've got to look at the facts, mate. I
no, and I get it. I totally get it. I understand it. I totally get it. And to be fair, Stockport County, whilst I guess over the last 20 years have had, 15 or so years, had a fairly deep foray into the non-league for quite a long period of time.
Very
deep. Going quite low in the Conference North, I think, for quite a while.
Well, I mentioned it there. They were, I think, 7 years ago. They were mid-table in the Conference North, having drawn to Nuneaton or something,
which is wild because they were in the Football League for 80 years or something. I think preceding it. So they're a proper club, if you know what I mean.
Definitely,
But icky. The idea that if we beat them, it might make some sort of moderate. It could be one of the top 3 or 4 news stories of the day. Gives me the creeps. I mean, it still doesn't feel good, does it? Just because they're not top, they're 5th in League One.
Only 3 points off top as well, so it's not.
They're doing all right, aren't they? It's one of those weird ones, and obviously we'll get on to prediction. Lineup will be a laugh as well. I've just seen that. I'll probably start thinking about that now. It's one of those, why not? I just hope. It's a weird situation where actually, again, lineup, you would expect that starting team to not be a million miles away from what we started at Bristol Rovers, because I just think he'll be looking at this as an opportunity. The overall squad is pretty bare. Keep some of these first team players, make sure they are fit for what he called, I can't remember what word he used. I think he called them momentous or something. 2 momentous league games is something like that. He said in the press. It made me laugh. Against Chesterfield at home and MK Dons away. And I was just like, oh my God. It's something like that. But he's got a point. I think what he means is they're 2 really important league games. Everything we said in the pod last time out is that if we, honestly, I love the FA Cup. I really do. Delivered probably one of the best moments of our lives, whether you saw it or you were in the concourse adjacent, sort of just adjacent to it, probably sounded great for Tom.
He's listening to this rolling his eyes, by the way. He knew this was coming.
Can't talk about the FA Cup, can we? That's probably the best thing Tom Walker's ever heard. And for me, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. So, that's good for him. So I do love the FA Cup, but this, in terms of our squad right now, our momentum in the league, just the whole situation for us, it just feels like a very forgivably losable football match, if you know what I mean. Even if we got my concern, again, it's a bit like the Bristol Rovers game, similar in the Vertu, is like, just don't go up there. Don't be 2-0 down after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and the day is done. And you just got people like treading on eggshells, like, don't get injured. Do you know what I mean? Like wrapping everyone up in cotton wool and just sort of retreating would be a real shame. Because it is the FA Cup. So we should be going out there thinking, let's have a go. I do think that should influence team selection. It should be keep some of these fringy guys, keep Gibbons in the side, keep Bradshaw on the side, which I think might happen. Keep the first team players that you're happy with, just keep them nice and rested, keep them fresh for these league games coming up, and tell these fringe players, like, look, massive opportunity against a quality side to go out and show what you're about and stake a claim, and got loads of games coming up in December. It's like thick and fast, really packed fixture list. So we're going to need the entirety of the squad that is fit. So go for it, just be brave. Don't be afraid. It's just a football match. They are, we played them in the league last year. We beat them in February. We beat them this year.
Under Harris as well.
Under Harris. We obviously, he acknowledged it in the press. So it's probably a bad moment for them to come and play us, if you know what I mean, to just come back. So there was a bit of buoyancy. The other thing is I'm not going to the game, and we love winning away games when I'm not there. My record has gone appalling in the last sort of 2 years, really, to be honest. So that should be a catalyst for something,
It's got to be, pin that up on the dressing room wall before we go out.
Yeah.
I mean, their form is, of their last 5 in all competitions, they've not won. They've drawn 3-1 and lost 2-3-0. So I think you're right, they're in no great shakes at all. And you're right, it's the sort of thing where, like, as much as they are like doing well in League One and we're in the league below, we shouldn't be scared of them, really, should we? I mean, it's one of those games where, because it's the FA Cup, there'll be people listening to this going, oh, you can't like ever talk about not like respecting or not playing like your strongest team for the FA Cup, which I understand. It's almost a bit of a shame that we go into it with not an injury crisis, but injury problems, especially at the top end of the pitch, and not having the ability to go and like give it all of the respect it kind of deserves.
I think it is an injury crisis. I think the only reason
it's crisis.
I think the only reason we're not calling it a crisis is because we are not losing the games. I think if we had the same set of injuries and we'd just gone and lost those 2 league games, we'd be like, you'd be on red alert, right? You'd be like, we're totally fucked. We got no players. We got no strikers. But Harris deserves, again, a huge amount of credit for how he's managed to adapt to the circumstances that we've got. Again, like, hilarious. Obviously, 6 pods in a row for me. The first of those was the Barrow preview when CUFC had just gone down. And I was like, this is going to be grisly. I was like, December's going to be a nightmare. We're going to, do you know what I mean? I was pretty down in the dumps. I was wrong, obviously, so far. I said we get dumped out of both the cups, we'd be 18th at that end of the run of the games. That's still not impossible, obviously. I'm desperate for that to not be the case, but I was pretty downbeat just because of particularly the CUFC news and just feeling like, God, we've got a team that isn't creating many chances or scoring any goals. And we've just lost like the only bloke who seems to, be a pivot up there and sort of keep it all together for us. Well, frankly, I was wrong, obviously. So well done, United. Well done, Neil Harris. But I do think we would be talking about the injuries a lot more if the form wasn't as good as it's been in this little period of time. So, I think it counts as a crisis. We don't have many people left, right? There's not a lot to rotate, particularly striker department, centre backs.
It's only 6 injuries, though. It's not like that isn't like a crazy amount. I think that says A, something about our squad, B, the fact that half of those injuries are strikers and they are kind of our only 3 out and out strikers. So I think, how about we settle that it's an injury crisis up front, but I think the rest of the side, I don't think you can go as far. There's only 1 defender out, and that's the 37-year-old captain. I know he's a captain, but like, do you know what I mean? He's 37 years old. Like,
okay, all right.
You've got everyone else to pick from at the back. You've got Purrington or Bradshaw. You've got Gibbons or Bennett. You've got Joe, Brossi or Watts to pick from at centre back. You've got Ball and McLaughlin out in the middle, obviously, but I guess it probably felt worse against Crewe because you didn't have Mpanzu either for the suspension.
Well,
Mpanzu, Smith and Hoddle to pick from in the middle.
Well, Hoddle's just put him. This is the
You've got to keep playing him, right?
This run, right? Is that Hoddle again has got another great write up. He just looks really, just looks class. Like, obviously, you hope in a way you should play this cup game, and they should be looking to not play him in the league. Do you know what I mean? Unless he just continues to be completely exceptional, because you just
I'd
want to
agree with
rotate
that.
him out at that point.
I'd agree with that.
Get him out
Yeah.
of exposure. If you know what I mean, to think about rotation and maybe think about, that Accrington home game. I'm not saying big changes, but depends how those 2 league games go. Depends who's coming back fit. But it's like he'll have opportunities, because those Christmas games, what we play on the 19th, 26th, 29th, and then the 1st and the 4th, that's a run. That's a game every few days, basically. So everyone who's probably even Monday, I think you see at some point, like everyone who's in that squad is going to turn out at some point in these set of games, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I definitely agree that up front, Harris confirmed in his presser that Apare is hopefully back for that Chesterfield game on Tuesday, or maybe like more likely the MK Dons game, but definitely out this weekend. So again, you're looking at just Kachunga, or as you just mentioned, Monday as your options up top. So that department, 100% I agree with you. It's
there's no just Kachunga here, mate.
Come on. But hang on, while we're talking about injuries, I'm using you as a sort of correspondent for the Harris press conference, because it sounds like there was a lot of chat about injuries, wasn't there?
Mate, I think you and I'm going to claim it. I think you and I were two of the first people onto this phenomenon.
First time round as well, I think, wasn't it?
But during the Harris first period, he's a medical science denier. Basically, he just actually actively in this press conference is boiled over. So
this is the first time he's really sort of explicitly admitted it, I guess. Yeah,
he's knocked on the door of this a few times. Of he referenced it quite a lot in the post match last time out. It's not Vertu, the weekend post match, wanting players to come back faster, basically. But yeah, he goes in on it in the presser. It's worth a look. It's about the first sort of 5, 6, 7 minutes is kind of dedicated almost to injuries. Also got the news that Morrison's out for the rest of the calendar year. But yeah, he actually goes as far as saying back in my day, it didn't happen, is what he says. And it's not what he means, obviously. It's very Harris. It's a bit like after the Bristol Rovers game, I think he said we should have scored 10.
Yeah.
And then there was a debate on the message board.
Hundreds of chances last week.
Yeah. Well, is 10 the most he's ever said? And there's someone, no, he said 15 after this game. So it's okay, so got to keep a tally now, how many goals we should have scored and or won by, or how many chances we created. Hundreds
of chances is amazing, by the way, because it's minimum 200 chances in 90 minutes.
Yeah, we worked it out. It's a lot. It's a chance every 40 seconds or something. That's a high frequency, especially to only just have won the game as well. Injuries. It's quite entertaining. I sort of get where he's coming from, weirdly, which is that I guess what he's harking back to, he played in the early 90s, maybe a bit of late 80s. What he's referencing in a more serious way is that obviously back then they didn't have all this, major medical diagnostic return to play protocol stuff. It probably was just a bit more manager turns up. How'd you feel? I feel fine. Go for it. And I'm sure there were some negative outcomes from that, but he was saying it's not exclusive to Cambridge United. He says it's across all clubs. We just got so many players out injured, and when they're injured for ages, weeks and weeks and weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. And he was just sort of saying, and this is the bit where it gets a bit wild, is that it just didn't happen back in his day. And I sort of get where he's coming from, because I just don't think it probably did in the same way. But it is interesting. And I guess what will be the most interesting thing now, I think, is the pace at which Michael Morrison makes it back into the team. Because Harris was saying, Morrow will be geeing up the medical room and stuff like that. I'm interested to see how quickly Morrison makes himself available. If he plays at MK Dons or something, Jesus, this can't be right.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Let me just read.
This can't be good.
Let me just read that quote quickly.
Please do.
This is it. He'll be doing everything he can to be back as quickly as he can. This is Morrison. That's what Michael will now do. He'll lead the changing room still on a daily basis. Match day, home games when he's there, or the local away games, he'll lead the changing room. And what he'll do is he'll drive the medical room now as well with standards. He'll push people to get back quicker than they had been. That's what you need. You need people to lead from the front who've got experience in those qualities. Michael will still play a huge part for us. I love that. It just feels so. It's so funny to think that he's expecting him to to lead in the physio room. It's such a bizarre thing, like a captain, it's like lead by example on the pitch, lead by example in the change room in terms of how you act around the sort of young players, but also like, don't worry about that hamstring injury, don't worry about the pulled hamstring, you'll be absolutely fine, get back on that pitch. Like, it's such an interesting thing to put on your captain
it's interesting, isn't it? I guess they do all their rehab and stuff, right? They're not OTG, so they got to be in the gym doing some form of rehab, and I guess he's looking at Morrison. I don't know.
Him just walking around the gym going, Louis, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's the quad, Louis? It's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, proper soprano style. Yeah. I'm just picturing now someone goes down injured. Someone's injured at Stockport. You know what I mean? It's like clash of heads. Maybe like unconscious. But instead of Harris setting the physio on, it just sends Morrison on in a trackie, like
with a fucking cattle prod.
Michael, go talk to him. Go talk to him. Tell him how it was in the 90s.
I love the idea of the image of like Michael Morrison running around Clare College with a fucking cattle prod, prodding Shane Lavery to get out on the pitch.
Come
Get
on.
out there, Shane.
Oh, God.
Dear.
Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I mean, the injury, it's interesting. Obviously, the club had a vacancy. I can't remember the job title, but the job title is along the lines of it's like physio department, sports rehabby style. I mean, that is no coincidence, right? That they've started recruiting for a role for someone specifically to come and look at this. Again, like, we will all put our hands up as a podcast and say this is not a field of expertise.
No.
Apart from me being chronically injured with a back problem, that's about the extent of my my knowledge. So I'm interested to see what happens. This is I think it's quite a weird line of narrative. And I think it could start to look a bit strange if, Lavery's back in the team and then straight back out with another hamstring injury. It's going to be like, did they rush him back? Like, what the hell's gone on here?
What doesn't quite tally with me is that exact example where, if I remember rightly, last season, there was a lot of this chat from Harris of, are we going to manage Lavery properly when he's, he'll score a hat-trick on a Saturday and then won't play on the Tuesday was the quote. But then, like, when Lavery was fit,
starting him at Fulham
on a Tuesday night. He played like 70 minutes that night. It's he kind of didn't back himself up in a way. He's sort of, the evidence with Lavery is a bit more like, how do you feel, Shane? Shane's probably wants to play and he's going, yeah, go on, play. But that isn't managing a player in the long run, because if, exactly like you say, the proof's going to be of the pudding being the eating, right? When, like, if Lavery comes back at the end of December and then we rag him in January and then he's out predictably for another 2 months, that's just going to be, I mean, that isn't a smart way to manage a player's injury, is it?
Well, we've got no idea. The only thing we don't know with Lavery is like, is there a world? I mean, again, it'd be a bit of a weird world where Harris is like open-minded to medical science when it suits the argument. Where, if they've said to him, and again, this is very, I don't think anything in this at all, but if they said, look, Lavery's going to blow up at some point anyway.
That's what I was going to say.
Why not go for it? Just use him. Do you know what I mean? Just like, because he's going to go pop at some stage. I've got no idea. We're just bare bones, aren't we? Like, even Apre, if it sounds like they're going to have to sort of not rush back, but what do you do if you're a player in this situation? You feel injured, but you've got the manager constantly coming out saying, well, they've got to come back quicker. Like, it's not the fairest thing, because I'm not saying they'll be more or less injured, but some of them will be more or less injured than the others. Sure. But it's like,
isn't there this like kind of known thing that I think a lot of professionals at every level, Premier League down to League Two, always say that professionals don't play at 100%. Like, they always carry something or other, like whether it's obviously minor and they can easily play through it, or whether it's probably a lot of them that we see play week in, week out of working with injections to like manage different things. And it sounds like Ball was a good example of that, who obviously finally just needed to take a bit of time out for his knee or whatever it was. So I wonder, maybe like with Apre, it's like, just find a way to push him through December until we can get some reinforcements and just go from there. Maybe Harris is just trying to sort of put the onus on the player a bit more to push themselves through a pain barrier. I don't know. I mean,
I wonder how many games Harris would have got out of Gary Gardner. He would have played like 30 games or something.
Just hobbling around.
Just want to retire.
Yeah.
Just like, just shoving him out every week.
Do we have any idea what Gary Gardner's up to right now? I just want to see. Did he sign for anyone? I just got to see quickly.
I don't think so, mate.
No,
he'll be like a technical youth coach at like West Brom. Do you know what I mean? It was like retreated to some like coaching role somewhere, I reckon.
Without club, it says. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. Let's end the pod with a little bit of a lineup prediction and then a score prediction.
Lineup, hold on.
Both tough. I can start you with a lineup, as I think.
Go on. Go on.
I think he'll go as close to the crew the crew lineup as possible. Catch up front, obviously, instead of Apare, and I think Mpanzu probably instead of Smith, because I think you're absolutely right on Hoddle. Keep kind of rag him in a good way, and Smith maybe slightly less robust in recent months than Mpanzu. So then you've got the option of Smith and Mpanzu as the combination on Tuesday.
He rested Watts, didn't he, on Tuesday?
Yeah,
obviously Watts came on, got himself a goal.
And I think Purrington comes back in, to be honest. Bennett gives you an option, a bit more attacking, and it sounds like Gibbons didn't have the best of games. So I think he'll take it seriously, is what I'm saying, and try and go as kind of full strength as he can.
I think McConnell gets rested. I think he needs it based on all the catch. You know what I mean? Like, obviously didn't see the Vertu, but seemingly he gassed out a bit. We obviously saw the second half against Crewe. It was not a good moment for him. I think he probably would benefit from rotating out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Maybe Knight is the answer there, and try.
So Knight starts. Obviously, he did start on Tuesday as well, but
so like Brophy Knight Mayer behind Kachunga.
Yeah. See, we'll do this together, mate. You don't need my help.
And Panzu and Hoddle, and then Purrington, Watts, Joe, Bennett, Eastwood, backwards.
Yeah. I think that's what he'll do. I think that also sounds about right. It's sort of a blendy, like still a bit fringy, but a bit of rotation. I think you're right about Corey Smith. Good time just to keep him fresh, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think something like that.
And then prediction. Should we say our predictions at the same time? Have you got one? What have you got on Moosenet? This is what you always do. What have you got?
I never do the cup games on Moosenet. I'm league only.
That's why you're doing terrible, surely.
No, because you don't get league points for cup games.
Oh, do you not? Oh, right.
No, you just progress.
I don't really play it.
Just progress in the FA Cup, and then even if you get knocked out, theoretically, you then get to predict the Stockport. You can go all the way to the final. Of
course, yeah,
if you so desire.
I've never taken it that seriously.
What's going to happen? I sort of it's too predictable, isn't it? I think we'll go. What do I think is going to happen? I think we'll go 0-0 and then we'll lose on pens.
Ooh,
how about that?
I like that.
I think he'll 0-0 it. We'll harass it, very harass, but we'll maybe lose on pens. But it will be characterful.
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-0 Stockport. And I think they might just like quite comfortably. It might be the sort of game where, because they're going through their own injury crisis, they go 2-0 up, maybe like first half or early second half, and then we watch half an hour of two teams trying not to get anyone injured. And like,
do you think they'll score from like 50 yards out in the first 5 minutes, like last time we went up there? Or
well, luckily we haven't got to keep a
traffic cone wafting around in goal. I remember because I said, God, that's terrible. And someone was saying like, no, I think it's just really good finish. And then you watch the video back and like, that is atrocious. That is like, should not be getting, he's like 6'5", shouldn't be a lob from there.
No, I know. Yeah, it really set the tone, that, didn't it?
Well, it wasn't that not the moment we went into the relegation zone in League One. It was, from where we never
got out of it. We literally never got out of it. I don't even think during a game we ever got out of it during the game. I think we did get close, but like during game situations, right? Half time of that Orient game, right? I think we were 1-up. Did we go 1-up or were we drawing and everyone else was losing and we were like a point away? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Let's wrap it up. I've got my Christmas party to get to, so I better scoot. It's been a pleasure, Caspel, as always. I don't know who's on the next pod.
Surely not me. Not 7 in a row.
It can't be you.
Surely not.
It's not me, so you're going to be excited to find out, as am I, on Monday morning. But until then, Caspel, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much.
See you, mate.